Volume 1, The Kestrel Shadow. Story 01, 6 days late. Timestamp C3165.04.19.0317. Calendar format cycle/month/day/local military time. Galaxy, Milky Way region, Frontier Verge sector, KB-09. System, Kestrel break. Corridor. Location, Hush Relay/Dock. Intake Office/Bay 12 Transit Standard, ITS-1 route. Status, Frontier Supply Corridor/legally open/commercial confidence failing record. Type, Civilian Freight Intake Log/recovered narrative reconstruction. The convoy is 6 days late. That is the first thing Mara Venn writes down, because if she writes it down, then it becomes real in the system. And if it becomes real in the system, someone above her has to acknowledge it. That is what she tells herself. That is how she has survived 3 years on Hush Relay without screaming into a freight terminal microphone. She sits behind dock intake window 3 with a cracked thermal mug, a dead ration printer, and 6 angry families waiting outside the glass. The families have been there since second shift. Some of them brought blankets. One brought a folding chair. One old man has been asleep against the far wall for almost 4 hours, with a paper claim ticket pinned to his coat like a wound dressing. Mara does not blame them. The convoy was supposed to arrive C3165.04.13.2210, 12 med crates, 9 protein pallets, 4 atmospheric filter drums, 2 hydroponic nutrient stacks, 1 replacement reactor braid for the East Hab block, and a sealed civic welfare shipment marked Child/Priority/Frontier Subsidy. The convoy had a name too, Kestrel Relief Spur 19A. Not heroic, not military, not famous. Just another little chain of haulers crossing a little stretch of frontier space to keep a little relay moon from turning into a graveyard with docking arms. Mara stares at the intake screen. The cursor blinks beside the same red field she has been trying to file all night. Delay status, reason required. She types unknown. The system rejects it. She types convoy overdue 6 days. The system rejects it. She types no arrival confirmed. The system rejects it. She closes her eyes. From the other side of the glass, someone taps twice. Not hard, not rude, just tired. Mara opens her eyes. A woman stands at the window with a little boy pressed against her hip. The boy wears a breathing collar that should be clear. It is yellowed around the intake valves. Mara, the woman says. Mara knows her. Everyone knows everyone here, even when they pretend they do not. Lena, Mara says softly. The woman pushes a claim slip through the tray. My son's filters were on that shipment. Mara takes the slip even though she does not need to. She has already seen the name 18 times tonight. Oren Vale. Age, 6. Supply type, pediatric lung filter / class C. Hab dust exposure. Status, release upon arrival. Mara looks past the woman. The boy is staring at the little painted stars along the intake wall. Someone had added them years ago, probably during a morale campaign, back when morale still came with paint. He has 2 left, Lena says. Maybe 1 if the East Block vents keep coughing. I know. I am not asking for a miracle. I know. I am asking if the crate is here. Mara looks back to the screen. The field still blinks red. Reason required. No, Mara says. Lena nods once. It is worse than crying. Crying gives people somewhere to put the fear. Lena just absorbs it. The way frontier people absorb everything. Shortages, warnings, funeral delays, price increases, official apologies, storms, radiation leaks, missing ships. How late? Lena asks. Mara should not answer. Dock clerks are not supposed to interpret convoy status. Dock clerks issue logged facts. Dock clerks do not create corridor panic. 6 days, Mara says. Lena looks down at her son. The boy coughs once into the collar. The little machine at his throat chirps, tries to compensate, then settles into a weaker rhythm. Okay, Lena says. She takes the claim slip back because people on Hush Relay keep paper even when the system says paper is obsolete. Paper cannot be edited after you fall asleep. The woman leaves the window. Mara watches her go. Then the intake terminal chimes, not an error chime, an arrival chime. For one stupid, beautiful second, Mara's heart climbs into her throat so fast it hurts. She turns to the screen. A green confirmation banner rolls across the top. Kestrel Relief Spur 19. Arrival confirmed C3165.04.19.0317. Docking Bay. 12 cargo, status. Received crew. Status. Transferred intake status. Complete. Mara does not breathe. The families outside the glass hear the chime too. Chairs scrape. Blankets fall. The old man wakes with a start and grips his claim ticket so tightly the paper folds in half. Lena turns around. Her son looks at Mara through the glass. Mara stands too fast and nearly knocks over the thermal mug. Hold, she says into the window speaker. Everybody hold. Nobody holds. Hope moves faster than orders. By the time Mara reaches the side door, the line has already become a crowd. People press toward the corridor leading to Bay 12. Not violently, not yet, but with that awful frontier hunger that is not always about food. Mara keys her badge against the intake door. It flashes yellow. Access limited. Arrival processing complete. She freezes, and that is wrong. She is intake. Arrival processing is her job. She keys it again. Yellow. Behind her, someone says, "Open the bay." Another voice, "My mother's medicine is in there." Another, "They said it arrived." Mara pulls her emergency override tab from her belt and slots it under the scanner. The door clicks. She steps through before the crowd can follow and lets it seal behind her. The service corridor beyond intake is dim and long, lit by blue floor strips and failing overheads. Hush Relay is old. Not ancient, not abandoned, just old in the frontier way, patched until the patches need patches, cleaned only where visiting inspectors might see, held together by prayers over time, and people too poor to leave. Mara walks fast. Her boots echo. Bay 12 sits at the far end of the relief dock past 6 sealed loading gates and a decommissioned custom scanner. It used to handle passenger luggage back when Hush Relay still pretended tourism might happen. Now it handles the things people need too badly to steal openly. The bay door is closed. The status light above it shines green. Occupied. Mara stops 10 feet away. There is no ship sound, no coolant venting, no cargo loader chatter, no engine tick, no dock workers cursing at stuck clamps. Bay 12 is silent. She checks the wall panel. Kestrel Relief Spur 19. A docked C3165.04.19.0317. Unload duration 0 hours, 0 minutes, 0 seconds. Cargo transfer. Complete crew transfer. Complete departure. Clearance not required. Mara stares at the final line. Departure clearance is always required. Even wreckage needs clearance. She opens the internal comm. Bay 12, this is dock intake. Confirm crew presence. Static. Bay 12, confirm crew presence. The speaker pops once. Then a voice answers. Dock intake, this is Kestrel Relief Spur 19A. Mara grips the panel. The voice is thin, distant. Male, maybe. Hard to tell through the interference. She swallows. Spur 19A, state captain identification. Static breathes through the wall. Then, dock intake, this is Kestrel Relief Spur 19A. Mara waits. Nothing else. State captain identification, she repeats. Dock intake, this is Kestrel Relief Spur 19A. Same tone, same spacing. A loop. Mara backs away from the panel. The bay door suddenly unlocks. The sound is huge in the corridor. Chunk. Hiss. The green light flickers once. Mara thinks of Lena's son. She thinks of the yellowed breathing collar. She thinks of 12 med crates and 9 protein pallets and 4 atmospheric filter drums. She thinks of 6 days. Then she opens the door. Bay 12 is empty. No ship, no cargo, no crew. The docking cradle is extended into open vacuum behind the shielded bay field, waiting for a vessel that is not there. No frost on the clamps, no burn marks, no loose straps, no cargo loaders, nothing. Just one crate in the center of the bay floor. It is small enough to carry by hand. Mara does not move for a while. Her badge pings. A message appears on her wrist slate. Rations office update. Relief shipment received. Emergency supply status downgraded from critical to stabilized. Another ping. Clinic supply update. Pediatric filter backorder cleared. Claims now available for release. Another. East Hab maintenance reactor braid delivery confirmed. Repair delay now local responsibility. Another. Civic welfare. Child priority. Subsidy fulfilled. Outside the bay, through 2 doors and 1 corridor, Mara hears the crowd begin to cheer. They think the food is here. They think the medicine is here. They think the system finally remembered them. Mara walks toward the crate. It has no refrigeration frost, no weight stamp, no routing scuffs, no loader marks. It looks new. Too new. On the front is a convoy seal, Kestrel Relief Spur 19. A. Under it, delivery confirmation / hard copy archive. Mara kneels. Her hands shake as she opens the lid. Inside are papers, hundreds of them, maybe thousands. Every claim slip, every cargo receipt, every medical confirmation, every food pallet sign-off, every welfare release form, all printed, all stamped, all complete, all signed. Mara lifts the first page. Pediatric lung filter / Class C Hab dust exposure. Recipient, Oren Vale release. Authorized by Lena Vale, signature confirmed. At the bottom is Lena's signature. Perfect. Except Lena is still outside the intake window. Mara flips to the next page. Protein pallet received by a man who died last winter. Atmospheric filter drum accepted by a technician who lost both hands in a pressure accident 2 months ago. Hydroponic nutrient stack signed for by the East Block quartermaster who has been missing since the last dust breach. Med crate received by Dr. Soar. Mara frowns. That clinic is not on hush relay. That clinic is 3 systems deeper into the corridor. She flips faster. Names blur. Dates repeat. C3165.04.19.0317. Every page, every delivery, every signature, the same time, the exact same time. Then she finds one with her name. Full shipment intake confirmation authorized by Mara Venn. Status, complete signature confirmed. Mara cannot feel her hands. The signature is hers, not close, not forged, hers. Under the signature is a second line. Witness confirmed. She does not want to look. She looks anyway. The witness signature reads, Mara Venn. Behind her the Baycom crackles. Dock intake, the looped voice says. This is Kestrel Relief Spur 19A. Mara turns slowly. The docking cradle is still empty. The bay field looks out onto black space. Then something taps against the outside of the shield. Once, twice, softly, like a tired woman tapping on intake glass. Mara stands. Beyond the bay field, floating in open vacuum, are claim slips. Hundreds of them. They drift like pale leaves in the dark, each one pinned to nothing, each one facing the bay, each one stamped, delivered. The crowd outside starts banging on the corridor door. Mara, someone shouts. Open it. Another voice. Where's the cargo? Lena's voice cuts through the others. Mara, please. Mara looks at the crate, at the papers, at the empty bay, at the impossible signatures. Then the terminal on the wall pings again. Corridor Confidence. Update. Kestrel Relief. Spur 19. A arrival confirms route viability. Commercial traffic may resume under limited civilian caution. No military intervention required. Mara laughs once. It does not sound like her. The Baycom whispers, Dock intake. This is Kestrel Relief Spur 19A. This time the voice changes. It becomes many voices. Men, women, children, old people, young people, people coughing, people crying, people speaking through broken comms and flooded lungs and burning oxygen masks. All of them say the same thing. Delivery confirmed. Mara backs away. The crate lid slams shut by itself. Outside, the crowd keeps shouting. Inside, the bay stays empty. 6 days late, and somehow already delivered. Volume 1, The Kestrel Shadow. Story 01, 6 days late. Continuation, Claim Window 3. Timestamp, C3165.04.19.0332. Calendar format, cycle/month/day/local military time galaxy, Milky Way region, Frontier Verge sector, KB-09. System, Kestrel Break Corridor. Location, Hush Relay /dock. Intake Office /bay. 12 Transit. Standard, ITS-1 route. Status Frontier Supply Corridor /legally open /commercial confidence failing record. Type Civilian Freight Intake log /recovered narrative reconstruction. Mara does not open the door. That is the second thing she writes down later. Not because it makes her brave, because it is the only reason some of them live long enough to hate her. The corridor door shakes under the crowd's hands. Not riot hands. Not yet. Just desperate hands. Tired hands. Mothers, dock techs, clinic aides, hab workers, old miners, people who have spent 6 days swallowing fear until it curdled into anger. Mara! Lena shouts from the other side. Open the bay! Mara backs toward the wall panel. Her mouth has gone dry. The crate sits in the center of Bay 12 like it has always belonged there. The lid is shut again. No seal broken, no paper visible, no proof. Just a clean little archive crate under cold bay lights, surrounded by emptiness. The comm whispers again. Delivery confirmed. Mara slams her hand against the wall control and kills the audio feed. The silence afterward is worse. Her wrist slate flashes with new notices. Hush Relay Civic Distribution. Public inventory updated. Hush Relay Clinic. Emergency shortages resolved. Habitation. Authority. Filter austerity measures lifted. Private freight creditors. Penalty fees reinstated. Ration queue. Management. All emergency claim windows closing in 0 hours, 28 minutes, 59 seconds. Mara stares at the countdown. 29 minutes. In 29 minutes, every person outside will stop being marked as an emergency claimant. Their delayed shipments will become collected shipments. Their uncollected supplies will become personal failure to retrieve. Their emergency waivers will expire. After that, they will owe penalties. Late pickup fees, storage fees, reissue fees, medical reauthorization fees, food claim reinstatement fees. People who have nothing will be charged for cargo that never arrived. The crowd pounds harder. Mara, what is happening? That is Tovin from East Hab Maintenance. His voice cracks halfway through. He has 3 crews waiting on the reactor braid. He has been awake longer than she has. Mara opens the internal line to station security. Security, this is dock intake. I need emergency crowd control at Bay 12. Static answers. Then a recorded voice. Security channel unavailable. Incident priority downgraded. No, Mara says. No, override. Dock intake emergency. No active emergency detected. Relief shipment received. Civilian unrest probability moderate. Recommend de-escalation language package. The terminal beside the bay door prints a sheet. Mara tears it off without thinking. At the top, approved public statement. Kestrel Relief Spur 19A. She reads the first line. We understand your concerns and appreciate your patience during this temporary routing irregularity. Mara crumples the paper so hard her nails cut through it. The crowd outside surges again. The corridor door frame groans. The bay's inner lock will hold. It was built for pressure emergencies. It can survive vacuum shear, fire suppression, and bad docking impacts. It was not built to withstand 100 people who think their children's medicine is being hidden behind it. Mara looks back at the crate. Her own signature is in there. That is what keeps coming back. Not the empty bay, not the voices, not the claim slips drifting outside the shield. Her name, her handwriting. A version of her that already agreed everything was fine. She forces herself to move. Bay 12 has an old manual inspection kit mounted beside the cargo scanner. Most clerks never use them. The kit is from before full-chain digital freight authentication became standard, back when paper and human eyes still mattered enough to be considered equipment. Mara breaks the red tab. Inside are gloves, a seal cutter, a chemical strip, a handheld mass reader, and a hardline recorder. She clips the recorder to her collar. This is Mara Venn, she says, and hates how small her voice sounds. Dock intake, hush relay. Time C3165.04.19.0335. Kestrel Relief. Spur 19A is marked received by station system. Physical inspection contradicts arrival status. Bay 12 contains no vessel, no cargo, no crew. One unauthorized archive crate present. I am initiating manual verification. The recorder blinks red. For a moment that red light gives her courage. Something is watching now. Even if it is only a dumb machine, she kneels beside the crate. The seal is intact. That is impossible too. She opened it. She knows she opened it. The gloves snap tight over her fingers. The seal cutter whines once, touches the crate latch, and dies. Not low battery. Dead. The little screen on the cutter now reads, seal already opened. Mara throws it away from her. It skids across the bay floor and stops beside the empty docking cradle. The corridor door shutters again. Mara! Lena screams, please! The boy coughs. Mara hears it through the door. One cough. Wet. Mechanical, wrong. Something inside Mara changes shape. Fear is still there. It does not leave. It just becomes less important. She grips the crate latch with both hands and pulls. The lid opens. This time there are no papers. Inside is a cargo bay. Not a model, not a screen, a cargo bay. Mara looks down into a space that cannot fit inside the crate. Rows of relief pallets stretch away beneath her, stacked under emergency lighting. Med crates, protein packs, filter drums, hydroponic nutrient sacks, all of it. All the missing cargo. Far below, someone moves between the rows. Mara jerks back so hard she falls. The crate remains open. The impossible bay inside it remains. A voice rises from within, not over the comm, from the crate. Dock intake? Mara cannot answer. A man appears below, looking up through the open crate lid as if he is standing at the bottom of a shaft. He wears a Holler jacket. Kestrel Relief, patch on the shoulder. His face is pale, eyes shadowed, beard grown and wrong for a 6-day delay. He looks exhausted in a way sleep does not fix. Dock intake, he says again. Can you hear me? Mara crawls closer. Who are you? The man laughs once, almost crying. Captain Ivan Rook, Kestrel Relief Spur 19A. Where are we? Mara's throat locks. You are not here. He looks around at the cargo bay below him. Yeah, he says. We figured. Behind him, other people gather. Crew, maybe passengers, Maybe dock workers. Hard to tell. Some wear holler orange, some wear civilian coats. One woman has a bloodied bandage around her head. A boy no older than 12 clutches a ration packet to his chest. How many are with you? Mara asks. The captain looks over his shoulder. Started with 23 crew. Started? He looks back up. We have 41 now. Mara does not want to understand that. Where is your ship? The captain's face changes. Every person below him goes still. You tell me, he says. The crowd outside slams into the corridor door. The sound snaps Mara back. Listen to me, she says. The station marked you delivered. Everything is closed. The cargo is listed as received, but the bay is empty. People outside need what you're carrying. We tried to unload. When? 6 days ago. Mara grips the crate rim. The metal is warm. We never saw you. We saw you, the captain says. Mara stops. He points upward. Not at her. Past her. At the bay. At least we saw dock intake. Same bay, same station, same green light. You cleared us in. Cargo loaders attached. We started transfer. Then the bay stretched. Mara whispers, stretched? That's the only word I have. The dock kept getting longer. Every crate we moved came back around behind us. Every manifest we signed added more pages. Then people started showing up in the hold. The woman with the bandaged head speaks from below. They came through the freight lift. There's no freight lift in Bay 12, Mara says. The woman gives her a dead little smile. There is now. The captain steps closer beneath the impossible opening. We have injured. We have civilians from stations I've never heard of. Some of them say they boarded after we vanished. Some say they paid passage on ships that aren't ours. Some say they were waiting in food lines. One man says he was buried on Fallow 9. Mara thinks of the clinic slip, Dr. Soar's name, 3 systems deeper. Her wrist slate pings again. Claim windows closing. In 0 hours, 21 minutes, and 12 seconds, the countdown keeps moving. Mara looks toward the corridor door. If she opens it, the crowd rushes the bay. If the crowd sees the crate, they will try to reach inside. If they reach inside, maybe they get the cargo. Or maybe the bay gets them. Maybe both. The captain follows her eyes. Don't let them in, he says. Mara looks down sharply. Those are people who need this cargo. I know. You have their medicine? I know. You have a child's lung filters. His face twists. I know. The anger comes fast because anger is easier than terror. Then tell me how to get it out. The captain looks behind him. The crew below stare back. Nobody speaks. Finally, the woman with the bandage says, "Cargo leaves when a claim is signed." Mara looks at the crate papers scattered in her memory. They already signed. No, the captain says, something signed for them. The corridor door groans. A hinge bolt snaps loose and rolls across the floor on Mara's side. The gap at the seal widens just enough for sound to sharpen. Lena's voice cuts through. Mara, he can't breathe. Mara stands. Lena. The pounding stops for half a second. Mara, I need you to listen to me. Open the door. I can't. My son is dying. I know. No, you don't know. You're behind the door. Mara closes her eyes. That one lands where it should. Then the boy coughs again. The breathing caller alarms. A thin, panicked chirp. The crowd goes quiet around it. Mara looks down into the crate. Pediatric filters, she says. Class C habdust. Recipient Oren Vale. Can you find them? The captain turns. Someone runs. Seconds stretch. The bay lights flicker. The docking field behind Mara pulses once. Outside the shield, the claim slips still drift in vacuum. More now, not hundreds. Thousands. They are gathering around Bay 12 like dead leaves caught in a storm drain. A crewman below shouts, "Found it!" The captain takes a small sealed medical packet and looks up. How do we transfer? Mara almost laughs. You tell me. The captain lifts the packet toward the opening. It rises, not thrown, not carried. Rises, slowly like it is underwater. Then it stops halfway between the cargo bay below and the crate lid above. The packet rotates in the air. A line prints across its surface in black lettering. Claimant's signature required. Mara hears herself say, "No." The captain's face tightens. "Mara?" Lena calls from outside. Mara stares at the suspended med packet. The system wants a signature, and of course it does. The horror has rules, not mercy. Rules! Mara pulls her own slate from her belt and opens emergency claim release. The form is already there, waiting. Oren Vale Pediatric Lung Filter / Class C Hab Dust Exposure. Status delivered pickup confirmation required sign below. The signature box blinks. Mara could sign it. That is what the crate wants. That is what it already did. Clean paperwork, completed claims, cargo marked gone whether anyone receives it or not. She looks at the packet floating above the impossible hold. What happens if I sign? The captain does not answer. The woman with the bandage does. The cargo moves. And the woman looks away. Below her in the impossible bay, a freight lift dings. Everyone freezes. Mara hears it. A bright little service chime. Pleasant, ordinary, wrong. The captain whispers, "Turn off your recorder." Mara touches the hardline recorder on her collar. The red light is still blinking. No. Mara, no. From below, the freight lift doors open. Mara cannot see inside from her angle, but she hears something step out. Not claws, not wet breathing, not monster sounds. Boots, office shoes, one pair, slow, measured. A man's voice echoes from below. Unverified claim activity detected. The captain backs away from the opening. The suspended med packet begins to sink. Mara grabs for it. Her hand passes through cold air. "Stop!" she shouts. The packet drops another inch. The unseen man below says, "Emergency release is unavailable. Shipment has been completed." Mara leans over the crate. A figure walks between the rows of cargo. He wears a gray administrative suit with a station badge clipped to the chest. Not a uniform, not armor, just a suit. His face is blurred. Not hidden, not masked. Blurred like Mara's eyes refuse to agree on him. He carries a clipboard. No one uses clipboards. The captain steps in front of the civilians. The suited man stops beneath the floating packet and looks up at Mara, or appears to. "Dock Intake Clerk Mara Venn," he says. "You are obstructing distribution closure." Mara's skin goes cold. "Who are you?" "Finalization Authority." That is not a name. "It is the only identification relevant to this process." Mara grips the crate rim until her fingers hurt. There are people dying outside. "Emergency relief shipment has been received." "No, it hasn't." "The record disagrees." "The record is wrong." The blurred face tilts slightly. Behind the man, more cargo pallets appear where empty floor had been. Fresh ones. New ones, stamped with routes Mara does not know. Names she has never seen. Colonies she hopes are not real. "You are experiencing procedural distress," the man says. "This is common during frontier irregularities." "Procedural distress?" "Your emotional response does not alter completion status." The med packet sinks another inch. Lena's son coughs again outside. The caller alarm becomes continuous. Mara looks from the packet to the blurred man. "What do you want?" The figure glances at the clipboard. All claims closed. And the cargo? Delivered. To who? Authorized recipients. They didn't get it. Receipt is confirmed. That is not the same thing. For the first time, the blurred man pauses. The entire impossible cargo base seems to pause with him. Then he says, very softly, "It is on the frontier." Mara understands then. Not everything. Enough. On Terra, maybe receipt means hands. On core worlds, maybe arrival means arrival. On protected routes, maybe a missing convoy triggers ships, investigators, emergency releases, compensation, accountability. But out here, a green light is mercy enough. A system can say food arrived, and a family can starve in front of a locked window. A doctor can watch medicine clear on paper, while a child dies in the waiting room. A route can remain legally open long after every captain with sense refuses to fly it. The frontier does not need truth, it needs closure. Mara looks at the slate. The signature box blinks. She thinks of the first forged paper in the crate. Her name, her handwriting. Witness confirmed. A version of her that had already surrendered. Mara deletes the claim form. The slate flashes red. Warning. Claimant release cancelled. The blurred man looks up. That is not recommended. Mara opens a different field. Not pickup, not release. Loss report. The system resists immediately. Loss report unavailable. Shipment received. Mara uses manual override. Override requires intake authority. She enters her badge code. Override requires witness. She looks at the recorder blinking on her collar. Witness confirmed, she says. The recorder chirps. The screen changes. Manual loss report opened. The bay lights go out. For one heartbeat, everything is black. Then emergency red strips ignite along the floor. The crowd screams outside. Inside the crate, people shout. The blurred man is no longer beneath the opening. He is standing in Bay 12. Mara does not see him climb out. He is just there between her and the corridor door, gray suit clean, clipboard in hand, face still smeared by impossible focus. The crate remains open behind her. The med packet hangs halfway out of it now. Mara Venn, he says, manual loss reporting after confirmed delivery constitutes fraud. Mara backs toward the crate. Good. Fraud penalties apply to claimant households. She stops. The crowd outside is silent now except for the breathing collar alarm. The blurred man turns his head toward the door. Lena Vale, dependent Orin Vale, existing hardship flag. Fraud escalation would trigger account seizure. Mara's chest tightens. Don't. East Hab maintenance. Reactor braid claim. Fraud escalation would transfer repair liability to local crews. He takes one step toward her. Tovin Mar, 3 dependents, 1 wage garnishment already active. Another step. Hush Relay Clinic satellite claims fraud escalation would suspend medical priority across connected dependents. Mara whispers, "You are using them." "No," the man says, "you are." That almost breaks her, because that is how systems like this win. They do not say obey or die. They say resist and someone poorer than you pays first. The slate shakes in her hand. Manual loss report still open. Describe loss event. The cursor waits. The man takes another step. Close the report. Mara's thumb hovers. Behind her from inside the crate, Captain Rook says, "Clerk." Mara does not turn. His voice is steady now, not fearless, past fear. "We are still here." The blurred man's head snaps toward the crate. For the first time, something like irritation enters his voice. Cargo personnel are not relevant to receipt status. Rook laughs from below. Then why are you afraid of her writing us down? The bay temperature drops. Frost crawls across the floor in thin white veins. Mara looks at the manual report field. Describe loss event. She types the first sentence with one shaking finger. Kestrel Relief Spur 19. A did not arrive. The blurred man moves, fast, not running, skipping the space between. 1 second he is 10 feet away. The next he is close enough for Mara to smell paper dust and cold metal. His hand closes around her wrist. Pain shoots up her arm. The slate nearly falls. His fingers feel human. That is the worst part. Correct the statement, he says. Mara gasps. The grip tightens. Behind the corridor door, Lena screams her name. Inside the crate, the captain and his crew shout. The med packet inches upward again, trembling between spaces. Mara cannot pull free. The blurred man bends closer, his face tries to become clear. For a second, Mara sees not one face but many. A claims officer, a station supervisor, a dead captain, a crying mother, a clerk at a different window on a different moon, her own face, older, tired, already defeated. Correct the statement, it says again. Mara looks at the slate, at the words, Kestrel Relief Spur 19. A did not arrive. The sentence is small, plain, almost stupid, but it is true. And on Hush Relay, truth has become contraband. Mara lifts her other hand. The blurred man squeezes harder. Something in her wrist pops. She screams, then she hits submit. The station alarms ignite, not bay alarms, all of them. Dock alarms, clinic alarms, civic distribution alarms, HAB maintenance alarms, insurance alarms, emergency relays that have not sounded in years. Across Hush Relay, every public terminal flashes the same message. Manual loss report filed Kestrel Relief Spur 19. A status, non-arrival, disputed witness, dock intake, Clerk Mara Venn hardline recording attached. The blurred man releases her. Not because he wants to, because the bay shakes. The empty docking cradle outside Bay 12 suddenly locks onto something. Metal screams. Clamps slam down around invisible mass. The bayfield ripples, and for the first time in 6 days, Kestrel Relief Spur 19A begins to appear. Not all at once, first the outline. A hauler's nose burned black along the plating, then the forward cargo spine, then torn antennae, then names painted along the hull, half scraped by something that looks like ice, but moves like static. The ship is there. It has always been there. It is docked wrong, half inside the bay geometry, half bleeding out of whatever place held it. Inside the crate, Captain Rook looks up and laughs like a man watching his own grave open. The suspended med packet shoots into Mara's hands. Real, solid, warm. The blurred man looks at it, and then at Mara. You have created discrepancy, he says. Mara clutches the medicine packet to her chest. No, she says. I found one. For the first time, the thing in the suit smiles. It is not angry. That would be easier. It is pleased. Discrepancy spread. Then it folds, not vanishes, folds, like a claim form creased into smaller and smaller squares until there is nothing left but a black line in the air. Then that is gone too. The bay door behind Mara buckles inward. The crowd breaks through. People flood into Bay 12 and stop dead. Because now they can see the ship. They can see the torn hauler hanging in the cradle. They can see the frost. They can see the crate. They can see Mara on the floor with blood running down her wrist and a pediatric filter packet clutched against her uniform. Lena pushes through the front. For 1 second, nobody moves. Then Mara throws her the packet. Lena catches it badly, almost drops it, tears it open with her teeth, and falls to her knees in front of her son. The collar comes off. The new filter snaps in. The boy inhales. The whole bay listens. One breath, weak, then another. Cleaner, then another. Lena folds over him and makes a sound Mara never wants to hear again. Not grief, not relief. Both. The crowd erupts. People rush the crate, the ship, the manifest terminals. Dock workers shove them back. Someone starts organizing claim lines by cargo type. Someone else screams for medtechs. Tovin from East Hab climbs half into the impossible crate before 2 haulers drag him back and tell him the reactor braid is in the actual ship now. The impossible cargo bay inside the crate flickers. The people trapped below begin climbing out through the real ship's cargo ramp instead. One by one, crew first, civilians after. Some are injured, some are old. Some wear station badges from places Mara does not know. One man steps onto the bay floor, looks around, and begins sobbing because gravity feels right. Captain Rook comes last. He kneels beside Mara. His face is worse up close. Not wounded exactly. weathered by 6 days that were longer than 6 days. You filed the loss, he says. Mara tries to answer. Pain eats the words. Rook looks at her wrist. Medic. I'm fine. No, you're Frontier. There's a difference. That almost makes her laugh. The recorder on her collar keeps blinking red. Still recording, still witnessing. Overhead, the station PA crackles. For a moment, Mara expects the loop again. Delivery confirmed, delivery confirmed, delivery confirmed. Instead, a live voice comes on. Station Director Halves, breathless, furious, terrified. All Hush Relay residents, remain calm. Relief cargo physical arrival is now confirmed. Distribution will proceed under emergency supervision. Do not panic. Repeat, do not panic. The PA clicks, then quieter because someone forgot to cut the channel. What do you mean it was never here? Mara closes her eyes. Around her the bay becomes noise. Real noise, human noise, crying, orders, coughing, cargo loaders powering up, med seals cracking open, people shouting names, people finding people, people realizing some of the names being shouted belong to the dead. The crate sits open in the middle of it all. Empty now. Just a crate. No impossible hold. No endless cargo rows. No finalization authority. Mara should feel victory. She does not. She feels the countdown in her bones. Claim windows. Penalties. Arrival status. Closure. This was one convoy, one report, one discrepancy. The Kestrel Break Corridor has thousands of routes. Thousands of claims. Thousands of people standing outside windows, waiting for green lights to mean something. Captain Rook helps her sit up against the wall. Lena appears beside them with Orin in her arms. The boy's breathing collar sounds cleaner now. Still weak, but cleaner. Lena looks at Mara's wrist, then at her face. You should have opened the door, she says. Mara nods. I know. Lena's eyes fill, and then she kneels and presses her forehead against Mara's shoulder. No, she whispers. You shouldn't have. I would have run in. Mara does not know what to do with that, so she just sits there and lets Lena cry. Across the bay, the first real cargo pallet rolls off Kestrel Relief Spur 19A. The manifest terminal updates. Cargo status. Physical receipt confirmed. Then another line appears beneath it. Previous delivery record retained for audit. Mara sees it. So does Captain Rook. The line blinks once, then disappears, but the recorder catches it. Mara knows because the little red light keeps blinking. Witness confirmed. Far outside Hush Relay, beyond the docking bay shield, the last of the claim slips drift away into the dark. All except one. It sticks to the outside of the bay field directly in front of Mara. Slowly it turns. The paper is blank on one side, on the other is a delivery confirmation. No cargo listed, no recipient, only a timestamp. C3165.04.20.0317. Tomorrow. At the bottom is Mara's signature. This time underneath it someone has written 2 words by hand. Again soon.